Manila. I'm Heidi from the Marcom department, and we are thrilled to have all of you here for this quest for the best cup, the Sasa Sestic edition. So this year we've been partnering with Henry & Sons to for them to provide us our coffee for our outlets, and you know it's been great so far. And I'm here to introduce our partner, Mr. Michael Harris from Henry & Sons, to say a few words.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Has everyone had their coffee?
That does not look like.
So you're waiting for the best coffee, and it's going to be at the Grand Hyatt. Our journey with the Grand Hyatt started about 3 years ago, and I saw it on my Facebook feed that 3 years ago, our team from Henry & Sons and the Grand Hyatt team all went to Benguet together. And this was even before the hotel was open. And we went there together to have, to find ourselves in the Cordillera, right? And what we found was coffee. And the amazing thing is coffee grows in the Philippines. And the other amazing thing is, do you know that we are the 4th largest consumer of coffee in the world? Did you guys know that? 4th. Do you know what we're first at? We are the largest soluble coffee consumers in the world. So that means Filipinos love their instant coffee. And the thing with instant coffee is it's not really helping the farmers. Coffee farmers are getting very minimal money for the soluble coffees that they're growing. So together with the Grand Hyatt, we started planting some coffees in Benguet. That was 3 years ago. And the last time I saw these trees, there's some cherries coming out, which is really nice. Hopefully in about 3 more years, we can pick it together and process it and serve it here. So it's been an amazing journey with the Grand Hyatt. Today we have Mr. Sasa Sestic here with us, the coffee man. He's here in the Philippines to help our coffee farmers elevate the quality of our coffee. And it's going to be another amazing journey and story. And I'm really happy to start it and kick it off here at the Grand Hyatt. The partnership with the Grand Hyatt has been amazing. You guys, I'm so thankful for you guys for pushing us to become better and make and help the community more. So with that, I would like to introduce Mr. Godfrey Bosenberger.
Oh, you did very well.
Did I get it right? Practice it. For a few words.
Oh, Michael, thank you so much, Michael. Michael is an absolute great supporter, and we couldn't do it without them. And so for us, this is a very big honor to work with you guys together. And thank you so much. I think it is not just about coffee; it's about communities. I think it's very much what you were saying, it is about sustainability. Can we make it work here in the country? What do we need to do to bring the local neighborhoods to life, to make them part of those organizations? It's not just a beautiful hotel, but it's also how do we support the communities spread out. So the suppliers are not suppliers, they actually are partners, and they are in together for the crime, whatever we have to. So thank you so much, Michael. But I think the other person we should introduce is Sasha. Thank you so much, Sasha, coming all the way from Australia, I guess. And Sasha, you're originally from Serbia? Correct. Oh, Serbia, see, not too far from Toronto. So unusual, they don't farm coffees there, so that is good in coffee is actually spectacular. So I'm sure you will get a lot of introduction from Sasha. Like we said, Michael makes effort to bring these people here so that we elevate the coffee culture. And we definitely want to be part of that, and hopefully we can grow the community and the local products to a new level. And whatever support we can get, we will support it. So we need you too. You need to spread the word. We need you to go out there and say, this is something which really serves everybody who is supporting us. So thank you so much for coming here today, and I think you have a great afternoon. Don't drink too much coffee, you will not sleep good. Thank you.
Great speech.
to you.
No? Yes? Perfect.
Yes.
Cool. Well, yeah, first of all, Michael, thank you very much for having me here. We had a lot of conversations over the last 12 months to come over and I guess share some of my experiences in coffee and farming and fermentation. I did receive, I guess, so many offers to go and consult on the farms. I decided to drop almost every one of them. I've been traveling a lot for the last few years, but I've probably accepted only one, which was yours one for this year. And the most importantly, the reason why is I see myself that coming to these countries where coffee is starting, for me it's a nice challenge. I do coffee for the reason because yes, I love tasting coffee, but more importantly, throughout the tasting coffee, I want to add some value. And being part of this, I really believe that with Grand Hyatt and you and a lot of people that want to add greater value, we can make the change. Before I talk more about possibly what we're going to do, and maybe next time we can talk more about it because we'll have a lot of fun next 3 days doing some presentations. I want to introduce myself. I do believe there's obviously a lot of media, and I'm pretty sure that you're not that much into the coffee. But I want to introduce myself, and I guess conclusion is going to be this really interesting thing, which is coffee does bring us together. So this is the coffee that Michael used in World Barista Championships. It's Jasper. It's a very special process, which is carbon maceration, developed by us. But I want to go back. I want to go back 10 or 11 years ago when I started with the coffee, and to kind of tell you how sort of this happened and how this particular coffee actually brought me here to meet each one of you. And I always do say that coffee really does connect people, so, which is really cool. So a little bit about me. I've started the Honor company, which is that first sort of 3 little poppers about 11 years ago. It's a roasting company, and I've started a company with $20,000 in the pocket and no business plan. I did not really have real jobs prior to that, but I had this huge passion for coffee. The company was established in the city called Canberra. Canberra is capital of Australia, as some of you know it, but whatsoever has not ever been considered as a great city for coffee. Always Melbourne is there, number one. Sydney was the greatest. A lot of people would sort of back then ask me, why don't you go to Melbourne and learn coffee from the best? I was a little bit stubborn, and then I decided to actually open up our company and to sort of have people in Canberra to drink also coffee. Not really to go to Melbourne or Sydney to join. My first business plan was written in napkin, the only business plan actually. And I remember that day when we sat down, we came up with a name on a coffee, and we wrote down that we just want to serve good coffee to people. Back then, what I thought that good coffee is, my impression was just delicious coffee. But now when I look at that sentence, for me what good coffee means is we want to serve coffee that makes it good for the world. And to link ourselves with the farmers, that we can positively impact the farmer in the best possible way, the roaster, barista, and all of our partners. We still grow by that napkin. I guess we're going to continue growing as we, need to in order to make a positive impact. And this is why the second company was born, which is called Project Origin. Project Origin is the company that works with the coffee farmers. So I'll go to quite a few different farms throughout the world and pretty much work with the farmers on the processing, the fermentation, and work with them in order to help them with their quality coffees. Today, with that idea of Project Origin, we've actually decided to buy on farms as well. So today we have farms in Honduras, in Nicaragua, also in Panama. And the idea why we're buying these farms is not because we want to sort of cut the farmers and then we want to sort of do vertical integration. It's completely opposite. We purchase these farms so we can actually plant different varietals, we can test the soils, we can do different fermentations, do different drying techniques, and then when we find out what works, we can actually share these recipes with our neighbors. So I remember the very first farm that I bought, which was in 2030 in Honduras. I went to this region, loved tasting the coffees in that particular region. I thought coffees were amazing. And more importantly, when I decided to visit that place, I saw that farms are abandoned. Producers are not really willing to invest money into the farms because they believe there's no buyers. And they did not really have the great know-how. So on that very same moment, I decided to buy the farm. I remember flying back to Australia. I've done two things. Normally when I go on the farms, instead of buying half a container of the coffee, I buy two. I don't need it, but I just get spoiled. I lose myself. So I bought too much coffee, but in the same time I bought a coffee farm. And then I thought, well, I bought a coffee farm near San Pedro Sula, which is considered as one of the most dangerous cities in the world. What is my wife going to say? I bought a farm, I shouldn't. I spent way too much money for this coffee that I shouldn't. But here I am, flying back. So if any of you have watched the movie, The Coffee Man, so you probably noticed that as part of the movie that the reason I named the very first farm Finca Betty is under my wife's name, so she does not get upset at me as much. It did work. So luckily, our second and third farm, I did not need to name it Finca Betty because she understood a little bit more in my depth. Who am I? What am I doing? I'm sharing this photo, but when I actually look at this photo, I get to. Number one, for me it's very emotional because it makes me really happy. It makes me happy because, and makes me sad as well. It makes me happy because this is our very first farm we've been working with. It's a farm in India, it's southern part of India, and they used to farm their coffees from 1960 up until 2012. They used to sell their coffee as a commodity. For example, today, what would happen for them over the last couple of years when these commodity prices are really low, they would be making a loss of about 20 to 30%. Because commodity price is about $1.10 and their production cost is about $1.40. So we know that this year they will struggle. But since we started working with them, we said, well, we actually don't really care about commodity prices. We're going to have a system that will cost you. Of course, you need to make the profits, but we kind of made the systems for them. If they grow even better and better coffees, their profits get higher and higher. So we came up with these three different labels: black label for 83, 85 point coffees, green label, and gold label. And then with our support and our infrastructure, the more we work closer with them, the higher they get paid. It makes me happy because every time when I go there, and last year I was there actually with my son, Alex, I can see that people are going for it. They're progressing. Kids go to school now. We've organized a bus for them to go to school, go back. Alex is very excited to bring some presents there when he goes. They have a great infrastructure for processing, for fermentation. There's more education. We've supported them with a childcare center. So moms, they don't need to pick your coffees with their kids in their arms. So now that's looked after. We also organize the sanitary systems for them, the toilets, and hot water, etc. So this is what I mean when I was talking a little bit about that napkin. We want to make good coffee. That to me makes a better impact because we're making a greater business for us, and our customers are enjoying the coffee, but most importantly, we can see that our farmers are progressing. The reason this photo makes me sad is I'm getting old. When I'm kidding. I don't have that here anymore, so at least I'm trying to balance it with my baby. So. Anyway, also a little bit, now that I have introduced the Project Origin, which is very close to my heart, and Biona Coffee, which is a roasting business and the coffee shops in Australia, I just want to let you know that I also travel quite a bit. I do coaching for baristas. Also, I'm an ambassador for coffee machines. I make some tools. If maybe anyone has seen this tool, it's called OCD. It's the first distributing tool in the world. So I'm a bit of a coffee geek as well. I love to do anything I possibly can to make coffee better, in a way. I've worked with some competitors to have some great results. So Sam Cora is a roaster. He finished #2 in the World Barista Cup in 2017, I think it was, in Budapest. Worked with John Gordon, because he obviously helped me and supported me to win World Barista Championships, so I kind of wanted to really help and support him. He finished #6, beat Jasper, actually, in the world. And this girl, I'm pretty sure you know her, she's the first female World Barista Champion, Agnieszka. And the story is really funny. There's another movie about, Aga, it's coming up next year. But the story is funny because I actually made a phone call and I called her. I didn't know who she was 4 months before competition. And I said, hey Aga, I wanna coach you. And I called on 1st of April, which is April Fool. It's very big in Europe, Joe Day. And I said, hey, I wanna coach you. He goes, who is this? I said, Sasha. Sasha Sestic. I said, yeah, it's me. I said, I'd love to help you if you want. You want nationals, and you come from a country that maybe doesn't have many resources. Female person never won, so I really wanna help you to be the best you can. And she kind of almost hung up on me. This is a job. This can't be happening. 4 months later, she became World Barista Champion. So, I guess in my spare time, I don't have much, but I love doing certain things. I'm off to Kenya next week to support Kenyan champion. African countries never won WBC, so I'm kind of passionate, not only about the coffee, but I think more importantly about the people, because that's what make coffee what it is. This is a little bit about me being near the surface, what I've just explained, because many people know me as a World Barista Champion, or the man that came out with the OCD, or whatever else it is. But I think it's more important that we sort of know why do we do what we do. And my value, or my kind of clarity and why do I do what I do, it's pretty clear. It still goes by that napkin that I mentioned. Just want to make good things. And now lately, through a cup of coffee, I can really see that we have been doing this. So now some really nice, interesting things. And the main reason why I'm here today is I can see this in Michael as well, and his values and what he stands for. And yeah, I guess these things connect people and give us some good vibes. That's a quick photo of our farm in Honduras, Fincabeti. It took a couple of years for my life to come and visit the farm, and yeah, she does enjoy it now. She's already been there a few times. This coffee actually was used in a World, I just remembered, World Barista Championships in Boston, Australian Barista Champions. But today we're going to be talking a little bit more about fermentation in coffee. We do have here some tea fermented. I think we have also there's a lot of movements in fermentation when it comes to cooking and celebrity chefs. There's a lot of movements in history of tea when we look at pura tea from Japan, from China. I visited some of the places and some of the tea houses in China. They have this pura tea, it looks like a cake, 2, 3, 4, 500 years old. And when I asked them, okay, what does this cost? How much is this 500-year-old tea? They said some of them come up to $500,000. I said, wow. I'm not a tea expert, and I don't think I personally can appreciate to that level of tea, but for me what was fascinating is that due to natural fermentation and the age, they can reach these high prices, and they can reach this high value of the product. Up until 4 or 5 years ago in the coffee industry, many coffee experts were saying that we don't need to ferment coffee. We just need to make it clean. A lot of companies like Penagos or like a lot of industrial companies, they even came up with a system that when we pulp the coffee, it sort of cleans the coffee really nicely, so it doesn't need to be fermented. So it's kind of machine fermented or demucilaged. And I was listening to all of these talks 4, 5, 6 years ago, but then trying to do this on our farms, and for me always mechanical fermentation was not as good as natural fermentation. And that really made me sort of, made me rethink and made me travel throughout the world to meet so many other advanced coffee producers to actually see, do they have a similar challenges like me? And by visiting all of these producers, I'll go to Panama, Esmeralda, some of the top farms, and they'll put 10 coffees on the table. All the same process, all of the coffees are same varietal, same altitude, everything is the same. And in my opinion, every coffee tasted slightly different. And farmers could not give me the answers. Why does this coffee taste different? Just, maybe different picking, or different weather. So that really made me kind of curious and upset at the same time, because they give same love to all of these coffees. And some of them taste 92 points, other ones are 85. And when you have coffee that scores so much less, people use great value. So it made me think that I probably cannot get these answers from coffee industry. So I started learning from winemakers for quite a while, and also beer, craft beer. How do they control fermentation? What do they do? And for about maybe good 12 months, I stopped socializing with the coffee people. And all of my nights I would go out, drink beer, and just discuss with the beer makers what and how it works. My tummy was growing, I was drinking a lot of beer, so then I moved on to wine. Anyway, I've traveled to quite a few farms and winemaking farms and vineyards. But then I saw something completely different than what we have in a coffee. Like in a coffee, when we ferment coffee, it's done with the outside environment. So today might be 40 degrees, high humidity, following day might be 28 degrees, lower humidity, and all of these differences will impact how coffee tastes like. But when we ferment wine, the grapes, it's done in indoor conditions. Temperature is controlled, humidity is controlled, but not only that, the containers are controlled. Like each one of these containers, you can actually design exactly what temperature you want, and each container can give us a different temperature. But then when we close the containers and we kill the oxygen, we can sort of control the bacteria and the yeast. So my entire world completely opened. And at that time, I knew that I need to create a process. And we need to create a process that has best of both worlds in the coffee. We have natural processed coffees that have a lot of flavors, a lot of blueberry notes, strawberry notes, like these darker cherry notes. But then we have this wash processed coffee that has a lot of these nice, elegant floral characters in the coffee. So I did not want to make wash process, natural process, or honey process. Wanted to make something new. So this is the reason why we called it carbonic maceration. There's many steps what we do in our carbonic maceration, like behind that. But that process is supposed to highlight best of both worlds. I think just now when someone was dialing the Jasper, I heard some of the baristas were saying, I'm tasting a little bit of jasmine, or it's a bit floral. But then, when I've tasted a filter coffee, for me it was kind of tasting a little bit darker side. So beauty in this sort of way of processing the coffees, you can expose the coffee to give you bigger vocabulary. So you're not just stick with one category. And it's up to the barista and the roaster to sort of see how they can unlock these flavors. Does that make sense? A little bit? I'm just going to cover this a little bit, so we're not going to go too technical. There's a lot of media and you're probably not interested in this, but just to give you a little bit of sort of how coffee is processed and how does that work. So we pick nice red cherries, and then if it's a wash process, we pulp the coffee and we put it in some certain containers. What normally happens is coffee is fermented for 1 day or 2 days, depending on the farmer. Traditionally, farmers would not change how long do they ferment. They just go by generation to generation. My dad used to ferment coffee for 20 hours, so I ferment it for 20 hours. So it's very basic. This is what normally happens. However, what happens if we ferment coffee, same coffee for 18 degrees Celsius or 26 degrees Celsius? Coffees will taste different. Just like what I experienced with so many different farmers when I taste their coffees, every lot is a little bit different. Because one day we have this temperature, following day we have that temperature. But farmers will ferment coffee for the same amount of hours. Like here we can see, for example, there's like a pink line throughout the middle. That's because when we ferment, coffee would give us that sort of alcohol acidity to start dominating, which we start building the alcohols. If some of you have tasted a coffee that tastes like a lot of salt, or it's really dry on the palate, or like not palatable, that's normally what happens. Coffee will ferment. So that's kind of a common problem, what normally happens. Another common problem is when we ferment coffee with the water, for example. If we're using spring water as opposed to rainwater, the reaction of fermentation will be really different as well. So normally the rainwater, because it's more acidic and the pH is a little bit lower, that's going to absorb a lot of nutrients and a lot of lipids and proteins and everything else from the coffee. So when we taste coffee that's been fermented in rainwater as opposed to spring water, it will also taste completely different too. So I guess with all of these ideas and thinking a little bit out of the box, drinking a lot of beer, a lot of wine, I came up with some nice and interesting conclusion. 4 years of, I guess, R&D, and we managed to launch this carbonic maceration selection coffees. So what we do is we ferment coffee inside in the environment. So we have air-conditioned room, and then we can change the temperatures. Different temperatures, we attract different bacteria, and that helps us to give us different flavors. We also seal the containers, and then when we seal the containers, it means there's no oxygen in the environment. And without oxygen, that means that we can push the fermentation further without letting it to oxidize or allowing this alcohol acidity to sort of kick in. And magical things happen. We start, encouraging, or we start getting the data of all of the microorganisms that we have in the fermentation tank. So what we started doing, we started isolating all of these different microorganisms and to see what sort of compounds and final compounds they created. And then we start isolating the compounds. Some of my favorite ones, maybe PGA yeast or lactic acid, etc. And then we're marking these compounds to see what sort of profile we can taste. So with the CM selections now, we can sort of say, hey, we'd love to have coffee with a little bit more floral characters, as it is here. And then we go backwards, and we can say, well, there are the compounds that we're getting from florality, and then there are the things that we can do to create self-fermentation, whether we're adding the yeast or local culture, to really encourage these compounds so we can sort of introduce the microorganisms that can sort of work together with these compounds. And at the end of the day, fermenting these coffees, we need to have data, just like when you're roasting the coffee and trying to get this really consistent roast every time, or consistent recipes like we have here. We need to do that, more importantly, the same on farm level. So by being able to monitor the pH and CO2 and the alcohol and humidity and ambient temperature, etc., we can actually taste the coffees and we can see whether this Jasper has a passion fruit or has these certain flavors. We go back to look at what are the compounds that we extract, how do we get these microorganisms, and what recipe did we use in order to achieve that. So we try to sort of close this full circle. And that kind of gives us a lot more confidence to be able to get out of the same coffee some very different flavor profiles. The profile that we have been serving today is Jasper profile, which is full flavor, red, orange fruits, spectrum, medium intensity, but this coffee has a lot of tropical notes, and a lot of mangoes, and etc. But the idea with that is we can achieve this profile with exactly the same coffee starting off. But just understanding the fermentation to a completely new level, we can sort of encourage certain flavor attributes. And that gives us flexibility because people like Michael can sit down and have a discussion we had and say, hey, do your customers like coffee with more floral notes or more apricots? And then by having these discussions and seeing what really customer wants, we can go back to the farms and say, hey, can we do this things? That's how I personally see sort of future of the coffee, being more collaborative and more open. Kind of connect the bridge between the farmer and consumer, and then really allow these conversations and with some more knowledge and data and R&D, we can give people that save a lot year by year. They can sort of drink this coffee because they, without having an excuse that we had a bad year or this year didn't work, a bad weather, so we couldn't extract it. So I strongly believe we can take more control over our coffees. Why did I start CM? Well, I've started for two reasons, or actually three. When I competed in World Barista Championships, I wanted to provide a coffee with the flavors that are so distinct to judges that every judge will say, yep, I'm tasting these flavors. Normally, coffee is very subjective, and when he's tasting these other flavors, some of them might think, for me, this coffee reminds me of strawberry, for you maybe blueberry, for you something else. But if we can isolate 2 or 3 really distinct flavors, and if everyone can share that, that's kind of what builds trust. And the judges will trust me that I actually have received that. But at the same time, it's the same thing with the customers. If we can provide the coffee to customers with the confidence that you're going to taste this, and it's going to be amazing. And when customers taste it, wow, this is amazing. This is suddenly a big trust. Second reason why I wanted to do it is I wanted to give more value to farmers. So by majority of the coffee farmers would have 20, 30, 50 lots for the year that they pick and collect. But then out of these 20 or 30 or 50 lots, half of these coffees do not taste good. And more importantly, they don't know why it doesn't taste good. And I do believe it's due to the uncontrolled fermentation. So by having these systems, we can have people to sort of enjoy the entire production to the right level. I've been, as I said earlier, I said, for example, this year no to many countries to do consultancy. Of course, number one, because I'm traveling, but secondly, I want to add value to the places and countries where I believe I need to. There's a lot of, I guess, farmers that need help and support. They are the ones that don't ask for the help and support because they don't have resources, they can't speak the language, they don't go to the coffee exhibitions. There's a lot of farmers that already have great coffees, and when they meet me at the exhibition, they want to connect so they can have even greater coffees. They are the ones I don't really concentrate on working with as much. I'd rather concentrate with the farmers that really need this technology, so we can make sure that from them being completely unrecognized, or countries like Philippines being unrecognized, and with these systems we can help you to sort of start getting that recognition. It goes by my philosophy, and so that's another reason why I'm here as well. Few little words about the CM selection and also Jasper Coffee. We have been really lucky to win some of the great awards with our processing techniques. Number one is Uji Diamond, which is a CM washed from Magneska. She used that coffee for espresso. Deborah from Panama CM, and then Cocheret Indigo with Pistachio from China. We also have Michael Harris making the first Philippine making the semi-finals of WBC. So we've been very lucky to sort of connect ourselves with the people. his presentation a little bit shorter as well, but yeah. I guess if I can leave you with the last few words, the only restaurant is a thing that I'll be part of. So I don't look at that, you know, coffee farmer or coffee roaster or barista. You know, Grand Hyatt here. We all need to work together. We need to collaborate in order to go forward and to leave something better behind us. So I'm very thankful to Grand Hyatt for hosting me. Thank you for hosting me as well, and we are thankful for coming.